So if you just line up with these guys, if you can't hear Chris, just line up. So just to reassure you, you haven't joined some weird religious cult, okay? But this is a Japanese martial art, and we take some of the traditions from Japan and we follow those. So that's kind of a respect to Aikido generally. This is my lineage. Those two signs represent the main styles I practiced during my time, and that I'd rather show respect to that than anything else. It's kind of Aikido generally. And then we bow together because I'm quite grateful to have you here because I couldn't teach it. I weren't here. I have to teach myself, and that's always tough. And hopefully you're quite pleased to be here and have to teach yourself. That's what it's all about. It's all about respect. Okay. So we're going to start with a warm-up. So if you just fan out a bit, because then you can see what's going on. And we're just turning, we're going to turn gently to the left. You'll find these things are paired. So we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, that kind of thing. First one's for the body, relax, and the second one you find you go a bit further. But try to make it as easy, and there's no pressure to compete with anybody else. You don't have to be more stretchy or bendy or stronger or anything or faster. You're doing this for you at your pace and in your comfort zone. So I'm looking to stretch you and your unique body and mind. Okay? I'm also looking to relax you and get you ready to see the information in the course of the week. Any questions? Good. Okay. So turn to your left. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So on these ones, let your arms just hang and let your center movement lift them up. So you use its centrifugal force to fast rate and the higher level come. We're not going to do it very fast, but everything's very easy. So just switching, you're going to bend to the side. Try to keep your lower part of the body stiff. So we don't want you kicking out like that from there. This should stay here, and you're going as far as you can go without moving your hips. Okay, so 1, 2, and then you go 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Raising up. 1, 2, and 3. Then 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 4. So bring your shoulders up a bit here. 3, 4. So particularly kind of opening this up as you're turning. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So your left arm will come up. This will be nice and relaxed. It's not going to point things in the air. You're going to drop it down and let it come back up. Try not to throw your hand behind your body. If you put your hand behind your body, which I'll ask you to do, now, put your hand behind your body, behind. Right, what you should notice is that you're starting to put some strain on your shoulder. Right? We don't want to do anything that puts a strain on the body. We want everything to be natural. We want you to use your body in the way it's designed to be used. It's not that I can't do that. It's just not very efficient. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's like it's falling. Just let gravity do the hard work. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 2 hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. By the end of this, you get to conduct an orchestra. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we go backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Okay, so you're going to put your hand so you can see the back of your fingers. You're going to cover it with the other hand, and you're gently going to stretch your wrist back towards your chest. You're going to drop your elbow down and you're going to feel some stretch on your fingertips towards your wrist. Now I could probably get my fingertips to touch my wrist, but it would be uncomfortable. Now it would be very relaxed. So it's a personal stretch. More there, good. This relax a bit more. Test you right on the edge of where you're comfortable. Okay. Ah, good. Stretch it a bit more. That's why we don't go further than where you found. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back to the other one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, rest your elbows coming down a little bit, Jay. Yeah, so just again, let gravity work for you. If you do it like that, as you work, and I test you, you'll be a little bit wibbly wobbly. If you just relax this down, all of a sudden you're solid. Good, thank you for that. Right, okay, so this time we're going to, I'll just put my hand up in the air. This comes around the top and the little finger goes into the crease of the wrist. Little finger in the crease of the wrist, thumb, going to come around there. Okay? Having found that place, you're just going to let your hand drop down until it says, no, I'm not going any further, thanks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you should notice the stretch on your wrist. Yeah? And then you swap hands, same thing. Little finger a bit further around, Chris. Little finger. Oh. There. Hand facing you. Hand, oh, not that way. There. So that you can put a wrist lock on your slab. Okay. Okay, so this would be, if you're doing someone else, like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Swap hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Swap hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now your palm will face the center, your thumb is down. What we're going to be doing is getting this stretch. So the fingers go over the top, the thumb goes down the back, and I'm keeping my arms below my, about shoulder length height, just below. And I'm stretching it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Outside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stop again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just do a test with your shoulders a little bit, isn't it? Yeah, a little bit. So let them relax. Let's come lower. Okay, so don't let your height, don't let their height influence your height. Right. So now you're fine. It's just test this. I know. So everything we do is designed for your body. Okay. Nobody else's. So what you're looking to explore is what's comfortable in your body and what's not. Okay. So right now you're probably not paying too much attention to it because you're just busy trying to keep up with the shapes, right? But each week you should notice more and more and find what's comfortable for you. Right? Okay.
Onigashima Sensei.
Yes, Dan.
Just a question on the Sankyo sort of exercise that we've just done.
Yep.
Is it purely a manipulation of the wrist, or should we be sending ki out through our arms in a similar vein to unbendable arm?
You're extending as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so just concentrate on the physical. Just thinking about twisting the wrist. Okay, and let's try the other way, just concentrate on the wrist. Okay, now extend some feeling out. Put your intention through the other room. Yeah. So all of our exercises, it's mind and body. Okay, we're not just kind of, oh, it's a good day today. lost those, a bit of a problem at work, wasn't it? No, you're focusing on what you're doing and you're expending your energy outwards. So here, energy out, energy up, energy down, energy, energy, energy. Always you're thinking about being expansive. Okay? It's not weird, it's just a way of describing it. Sometimes you walk into a room and you're feeling great, and everybody notices, wow, you've had a good day, haven't you? Okay, that's lovely, and nobody notices you. It's that sort of difference. And put you in your best state. All right, so now we're going to just shake. Get rid of the tensions in the day. Whole body should be going to. Should be going through your whole body. Okay, that's better. Slow down, slow down, slow down. There should be a bit of a buzz in your fingers. So now we go to the mat. There's that front. Okay. Relax your arms so the weight goes downwards and you've got good connection with your forearm with your leg, if that's the way how if your arms are long enough to do that. What I don't want is this. Okay, we're not doing a football stretch. Relaxation exercises, and we're doing moving centers. We're moving our center. So we're going to be moving from here and sliding forwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Little pause and back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Little pause. Back. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, good. Open your legs. And you're going to slide to the left, but you're going to put your intention on your right foot. In other words, you're going to be looking at it as you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to the right and then looking to your left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're moving your side body to try and lay it on your thigh. You probably won't be able to, unless you're capable, you can, but just relax into it. 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sliding forwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Soles of your feet together. Just let the weight hang down from your knees. In a second, we'll begin to move. Make sure your back is coming straight. And just a rule for this club: if you've got a question, ask it. Okay, don't just think, why are we doing this? Well, that doesn't seem very natural. I'd much rather you ask the question. I can explain the purpose of it. Right, okay, so now we're going to put a little bit of movement in, try and open up our thighs a little bit, our hip bones. Let's maintain good posture. Awareness. Now we're going to be bending forward, so don't pull your head to your toes. Don't do the chicken head. You're going to be moving your body as far as it goes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Notice what's going on in your lower back. Just having some stretching out those joints. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Okay. So you get your left foot. If you notice this, you can cross-legged, and then you put that halfway out, so it bisects your body, and this is tucked under. And you basically, you're going to roll back, but it's like there's a rod between your toes and your nose, and it's fixed. So the distance stays the same. So what you don't want to do is this. It's going to hurt. Okay. And this is where awareness comes in. Brilliant. Yes. Don't roll into walls. Perfect. Yeah, you just need to be aware of that. And generally in the lesson, those walls are not going to move. People will, but the walls won't. Okay. So basically, it's like someone picked your toe up. 1, 2, and you get a beautiful like rocking horse motion. You don't have to try. In fact, if I try to stay back, I can't. I just come forward. Okay. 1, 2. Yeah, give it a go. 1, 2. I know it won't went well. If I hear a thud, I know it didn't go as well as you hoped. And you want to keep the side of your foot down. You don't want to come up here because that kind of stops you and you can't get up. If you keep it sideways, then you can go into this kneeling posture, and from there to standing pretty easy. And then you can put it into reverse. That's what we're looking for. So I am on the right foot out now. Give that a go. Then we go back to left. And probably alternate. So 1.
I have another question,
Yes.
because I just feel that my back is not curving.
Okay.
That's why sometimes I go on flat and I can feel it.
Yes.
So is the movement starts when you
So-
when you drop off your pelvis?
If you notice, I'm focusing here, and there's just a little bit of curvature all the way down my spine because my head's a little over my knees effectively. So if I start from here, it feels very different. I know I'm going to crash, so I'm here. So the first vertebra that touches is that one, and then it follows sequentially. If you keep that relationship with your toe, it becomes nice and curvy, and every bit of your spine will touch the mat and you won't bang down. Imagine that was concrete. You don't want to be doing it. It's going to hurt. So you should be like a lunar module landing on the moon. You don't want to crash land into the moon. You want to kind of finish your stop at 0 miles per hour just as you touch the ground. Yep. 1, 2. Oh, beautiful. 1, 2. 1, 2. Now we all have different flexibility. You'll notice this is tucked quite close to my bum. The further I put this forward, the harder it's going to be to get into the kneeling posture. So try and bring your foot close to your bottom and keep it close to your bottom. 1, 2. 1, 2. Okay, mid-air, we're going to flip legs. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Change. 1, 2. 1. Change. 1, 2. Change. 1, 2. 1, 2. So notice how I finish in this slightly forward position. So I've decided to stop my energy there, but this time we're going to carry on and use that forward momentum to get onto our knees. So 1, 2. Very good. And is that up to? That's perfect. So nearly is good enough for now. 1, 2. Right. 2. Now we're going to flip as we go back and come up on the other knee. 1, 2. Shoulder rolling. Forward to start with. That's it. Good. And now backwards. And then 1 forward, 1 back. That's too forward. Ride a bike then. Let's do it like that. And then reverse it. So I know you love these, don't you? Okay, then this we're going to be basically turning your wrist in a figure of 8. Yep. 1, and as we do this, we're going to turn. And then we're going to put both hands in, and we're going to turn both wrists. Using our hips to create momentum. Feeling the flow, the energy. Okay, so just make yourself comfortable. So the standard position in Aikido, you don't have to do this. This position is known as Seiza. Knees apart, ankles together, tend to sit like this. Frankly, the older you are, the less comfortable that becomes if you've never done it before. It takes a while to get comfortable. It's better that you're comfortable than you're following the standard way of doing it. So maybe give it a go for about 10 seconds and then revert to cross legs. And then maybe next week it'll be 11 seconds, you never know. So we try and build up over time. Okay. So our theme for tonight is about putting ourselves in our partner's place. And there's an element, a concept there of alignment. Okay. So we need to be aligned first. So if I can borrow this. Okay, so you just stand sideways on and comfortably. So whatever's the best way for you to stand. So if you don't mind, we're going to kind of examine you a bit. We're going to get a bit of opinion as to whether this looks like a good posture or not. So when you look at Baba standing, what vibes does this give to? Does it look relaxed? Does it look structurally sound? Does it look like she'll be coordinated in mind and body? Just whatever springs to mind. If you think she looks a bit uncomfortable or tense, or that she's twitching, or she's doing it, you're noticing something. What are you noticing?
I don't mind any opinion.
Tension. Tense.
A little bit tense. Okay.
A bit not natural.
Okay. Is that? Do you think that's a mental thing or a physical thing?
It's probably a mental thing.
Yeah.
She's standing in front of me.
Okay. But as she's smiling, she looks more comfortable, doesn't she? Yeah, that's true. Jay, anything?
To me, it looks like more grounded.
Okay.
Oh, it looks very structurally good, but I agree.
Okay. Well,
Taking some medical tension. She's very nervous.
first time people go in front of the camera. Understandable. Chris, anything occur?
Looks a little self-conscious. Standing in front
Yeah,
of her.
that's understandable. And we can test this, right? We can see. Ah, good. That's always a good plan. So I can just test to see whether she's pretty centered. And actually, she is pretty centered. So structurally, this is pretty good. Okay. But if you notice, there's just a little bit of movement there. And there will always be a little bit of play. But now I'd like to think of something that makes you feel really good. So when the kids are behaving and going to sleep when they should, and they're eating their food and all that stuff, so just focus on something that makes you feel good. And now, there's hardly any movement at all. So that mental element may be spotted, kind of got that out of the system. Now she's kind of well and truly aligned. And that's how we want to be when we practice. Yep. It's all about sorting yourself out first. Okay? Because if you don't sort yourself out, your ability to work with others is impaired. Yep. So this is a brilliant study because it's all about self, all about developing yourself. But the way you do it is by through working with others. So you've got to give to get. The whole idea is to get. But only for the benefit of you, which benefits the planet as a whole. So it's a wonderful, positive spiral. Okay, so we're just going to try that exercise. Someone experienced, somebody who's not so experienced, take them through it. Okay? Well, if you want the number, take them to the jail, people first. Come in a bit, guys. Feel nice. We can follow you. Chest first.
Down there.
Yeah, so let's start in a posture that you feel.
Yeah.
You happy with that? It's like we're standing in a bus. Not a marshal's car, just a bus. Yeah. So did you notice you pushed into that? So she came in here, and you went forward a bit, so she got tested from behind. Okay, so you'll notice also that the test is not kind of push you over, it's quite gentle. Yeah. So now I can feel that you are centered and you're not reacting. I can start to do a bit more. I can do a bit more to show you that this is very strong. Okay, just by way of a test, I'm going to tap on you on the head. Is that okay? Yeah.
going to tap you on the head in a really annoying way, and then I'll test you.
If that is what's going on.
And it kind of moves your mind. Yeah.
Staying on tomorrow.
Did you agree with their comments?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all about.
So when you test
So
the
when you're on
test,
that,
we always start right about
it's
on the
all
side.
about you.
Okay, so
It's all about me.
we align ourselves with them.
Okay.
That's part of the lesson actually today.
I'm going to be part of you. you've got part of me.
So I don't want to be, that's not aligning myself with that. I don't want to be here, I don't want to be here. I want to start here.
You just actually.
I'm less distracted to man.
Do I need to do something at one
You
point?
can do, but you don't need to on side screen.
Of it all?
But front and back.
Negative.
Because you might feel her pushing into you. Yeah, notice like I'm not clubbing you, you or her. Same with you now, but when you test, align yourself, so side by side. You don't be so close, it isn't feel uncomfortable. You've got to be comfortable, but position yourself on the same line, so you're comfortable.
Do you think now?
If you're doing well, then we can move up a test. We can come to you.
I'm mental.
That is it, was working. I'm surprised.
Now. Yeah. So when you walk into the room.
Because I'm not, I mean, I'm really physically hard, yes, it's very hard to resist, but I'm not testing you with a great physical force. I'm not doing that. I'm seeing if your mind will look at it. If you feel yourself getting sucked forward, that's what I'm looking for. That's why there's the pause. Did you react? Yes, you did. If you don't react, I won't be able to move you.
Just the change of thought.
Okay, let's move on. Chris, come on. Okay, so what you do, turn out, face this way. So adopt that nice comfortable position. Yep. So that if I try to push you, it's quite hard. I've actually really got that. Okay. Very solid. Okay. So if I try to force you to do something, your natural reaction is, no, I don't want to do that. Thank you. I'm very happy here. Right? So this time I'm going to come to you, I'm going to align myself with you, I'm going to put my hand on your back, and I'm going to work with you. Rather than trying to make you do something, we're going to work together. Okay, so should we go that way? Because I've changed my mindset, I am trying to do something to you, I want to do something with you, it changes the result because you don't feel anything to resist. Okay, so come back. Everything we do is repeatable and you can all do it. There's no great magic to this. Okay, so here, how would I, if I knew you really well and we were good mates, when I touch, how would I touch? There would be no sense of imposition there. There'd be just a friendly energy to it. Two mates going for a stroll, probably two brothers in this case. Right? Okay, so my touch is gentle. And there is a sense of, I know we're doing this thing together. So there's a sense of oneness here. We don't have one-on-one, we just have one. We're going on this walk together, and that's my mindset. So I almost expand my energy field into yours. That may sound a bit weird, but there's a sense of connection there. Yeah, I'm sending energy to you and with you. So there we go. So that's what you're going to try next. Okay. Same, keeping the pairs, and let's go. You get to know each other.
Right. So.
Yeah, firstly, see what resistance you get.
Yeah.
You might lose, but I'm winning, right? It becomes a fight the whole way.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and again.
Yeah. I just, so.
So force.
Some of the harm.
Cooperation. Yeah.
But just so there's really no space here. I find that it's more comfortable on the arm and it's easier to have this connection.
Yeah.
Sure. And you react. Words might be a second. I feel so we're all picking this stuff up all the time. And I don't have to say words for you to pick up on kind of where I'm at. It's really hard.
As one. So you're going to walk and you don't. Okay. But we do want to walk actually. In the way the hands are close.
Okay. So. Stand perfect. So this is going to rest my hand like that. So you're going to lead me around the room. You're going to lead us around the room actually. So if she tries to force it, try to force it. That's kind of what will happen. Nothing will happen because I'm centered. She just slide off the top. But so she connects with me. She's going to be brilliant. Yes, now we start going. Where do you want to take it? Okay, I'll take you as a shot. Okay, so I rest here. So I don't, this is kind of forcing her. You can see that. I'm just going to drop my hand onto her. Where it stops, it stops. Got no preconceptions about where it stops, but this is a good, I know I've kind of found her limit. This is the borderline between her and us. And I'm extending down and forwards. Yep, so if I switch it off, nothing happens. Connect like the shaking hands. We're going to go that way. Go this way, go this way. She's looking to mirror what I do. I shouldn't try and force it at all. Now you're going to do the awareness, because if you're moving around, there's two other pairs that are going on, shows chaos. So off you go. That's just the chaos.
Getting yourself into the way.
We're matching her nicely. On the other hand,
and feel.
just to relax. Okay, so you're looking down at the ground. I don't want you to on so keep your alignment. Yeah. So I'm up, that's great, then I'm going to start moving. Yes, I am. I want to be aware of her and what's going on in the room with everybody else. Yep. So I stay very close and tight. My movement, I hope, it looks quite smooth. It's not kind of, it's like, just do it with more confidence. How does that feel?
It felt like.
So, take this to everyday ceremony. You've got to crush your hand. After that, did you feel the reflection, right? You kind of want this with both, it's perfect.
I think
Where I
it's
feel
gonna
you,
be exactly
you feel me. It's just a meeting. Exactly. No, position. Now we've met.
So I'm not resisting at all, right? Not standing.
Yeah.
You hold your mind and you decide.
In this case, these are a neutral. He has no intention. He doesn't know the stage where it is forward or back. Only to us So when we meet, I get to essentially the exercise. But I don't know the two of us. If he decides I'm not, I don't want to do it. He never a sense of imposition or I'm trying to impose my will on yours. My energy is conversation. I'm starting the communication process.
Makes sense? It's a little bit like, it does feel a bit.
Okay, so what I see when I see you.
Yeah.
It's stiff.
Yeah. It's
Like that. One shake hands.
take this away.
Now you join in the handshake. Thank you. Kind of a meeting of minds here, right? It's not me trying to crush you or that. Yes, this is what we're doing in this exercise, okay? So I don't push her down, I don't attach anything. I'm trying to get like a little bit into handshake. Nothing to worry, I just want to feel like, oh yeah, she's not moving now. But I know that she's of a neutral mind. Okay, she's not saying I'm going to stay here. If I do it wrong, she will stay. But if I do it right, she doesn't mind. So I'm working with us. Does that make sense? Yes. Trust here now. Close your eyes. Good. Let's call up one of them. So, there are various principles and big ideas in Aikido, but I think the one we're playing with now, if you want beautiful Aikido, is the most important one. To put yourself in your partner's place. Because as soon as you fail to do that, you get a bit of hard edges and clashing and forcing. Because you have to put yourself in the right place in the first place. Okay? So if you're thinking black and I'm thinking white, and I'm not interested in finding out what your view of black is, we're never going to bridge that gap. And you're not interested in what white is. We'll never bridge that gap. But if I stop for a second and say, oh, whoa, hang on a second, what do you mean by black? What's black for you? And we explore it, I might say, hey, yeah, I understand that. I can make some sense of black now. I think a little bit black too. Would you like to hear what white is? And then maybe we've got a bridge going. And we, on the mat, we manifest the same thing in a physical context. So we can use verbally, in any relationship with anybody else. If you want it to run smoothly, let them do what they want to do. Don't let them impose themselves on you, but give them the space to express themselves. Right? So, if he wants to punch me, it's not smart if I stay there. Right? If he wants to punch me, and I punch him, okay, maybe slightly smarter, because at least I got to survive, but he probably won't love that. You know, so come the next day, I might get one in the back, so that's not particularly good. If he wants to punch me, then, oh, you want to punch me? Yep. Don't stop his punch, go with it. Okay, but now, again, one more time. Now you can join with it. You can begin to leave it somewhere else. So I can end up in a place where I've stopped getting hurt, I've stopped the attack, given him a moment to think again, shown him that I could have crushed him, but I chose not to. If he wants to have another go, he can. Hopefully you get the same result, because in the end, perhaps this is a bit pointless, perhaps I shouldn't be doing this. Perhaps we can have a rapprochement. Okay, so what we'll do is, hold him over this. Okay, so he's trying to push in and push me over. Yes, go on. So I could get resistance, and we could just never bridge this. Why is that? So I need to align very slowly. I need to align with his energy. So I've joined the line now. We're in the same place. We're in the better same place now. Okay, I don't want to be behind him, I want to be next to him. Yeah. Now, just as the hand exercise you just did, it's easy to move him. Not so easy to move him from here. Not so easy to move him from here, but right here. Ooh, when I align my body, when I align my energy, now we can start doing something together. It's more positive. So, experienced people take me on the journey, please. Thank you. So, yeah, do the last exercise. Just because it's nice and simple.
Okay. Right. So, get you away from the wall. And now,
so to make this exercise work, if I like this, there's nothing for you to work with. Right? So hold me like that.
so you can feel that I'm trying
So no forward movement. You can be totally
So
neutral.
what you're going to
You're
do,
not letting me come in. You're not
I'm coming in.
not really letting me get away either. Here, if I want to align with you, then I have to come to you. Yeah? If you're pulling me, then I have to come to you.
So we're going to
If you're pushing me, push, then I push, pushing. Pushing.
Now we
I
want it,
let you come.
and you're able to go.
Right? So this one,
Yeah.
I want you to
So that's
respect
going
the agenda.
Let's go ahead.
Oh, I'm you're me.
Outside.
So you should think
So
that.
now,
Nothing yet.
you're
I
sending-
just want you to feel, you know, I'm trying to get into space right now, rather than get resistant, you let this go. Yes. And you align with it. And you align with it.
Come into your space.
Yeah, so your feet that turn as well, so the whole body is aligned with you. It should be aligned with you as well. Very Yes, yes. Which side of the face do we go? Which side of the face do we go? Far side.
The steps are actually come in, it's only made as simple as possible.
Yes.
Okay. So then this, obviously, is step in. Yeah. Very good, thank you.
If I just do that, we're totally aligned. I'm neither in, there's no direction to this. That's the direction it's going to go. We're going there forever and a day.
Standing there.
Not quite what I wanted to do. What I do is I just open it nicely. So now it's sort of comes in, but stretched it out. It's really comfortable. When you get into there, a little bit of opening. Takes away all that.
I think you are.
We're gonna do. So you go down? Yeah. I will lose my balance. So I have to make sure that there's no loss of balance.
And now you can try to
You can actually step right and back. So one step to the next. There. Yeah, so keep your right. Yeah, you can keep the.
So come back to be with us there.
Yes.
Become a bit aggressive.
Japanese, unfortunately, what is the samurai?
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to do that. We need to do that. Sorry. Yes. But at least football Aikido. I cannot play to sit for almost. Right. Okay. So if you're
to bring me to this position. I don't really, I want to the next
okay, step as well.
I don't actually do anything like this. All I do is I turn my.
This is all we've
Yeah,
got.
so my arm appears to be going down. But that's only because it's not holding it. So if you thunderclap means stop, we're moving on to the next phase. It could mean thumbs will get hurt. I'm just going to stop it just like that. So if you take 2 years. So when something takes 2 years, this is much more restrictive. Just let me move.
Okay.
Not a need to come in. Just yeah. This is really good. If I fight this, just get absolutely nowhere. So, how do I align with this? What does he want? What's he got hold of? It's a statement of the obvious. You have to give people say what you see, as they say in the quiz show. What do you see? What's he got hold of? He wants my arm. Which part of my arm? Just the lower. That's the only bit he's got. So I accept this. This is part of my putting myself in my partner's place. Apparently he wants my arm. Okay, you can have my arm. I'm not going to move that. You can keep it, all right? But I can move everything else. Okay. I've got a freedom. But I have to use my freedom wisely, which we don't always do as human beings, do we? So if I come here, not so smart because he can do horrible things to me. If I move into this space, that's okay. I'm quite safe here and I actually got a lot more control. So I move my body. And if we just test here now, if he was trying to come in on me, this is actually very strong. I can stay here all day long now. Whereas if it was there, away I go. So this preserves me. I come in, but not so much that he feels the bang. Just as this touches my body, I stop. And I turn and I come in. Now there are all sorts of options, but let's just get you here first. Okay. Now I can move him. Not so much. Not so much. Not so much. Here. Yes. Here. I can move. All right. So let's align them together. All right. You want to go? Okay. Now I'll go again. And we'll have, so, let's feel it first. Yes, both wrists.
Okay.
Other foot forward.
Basically, yeah.
1, 2. So you're looking to stop me doing that.
So,
Why that foot forward?
this is what I
It's
thought.
just out of range of my fist. Put the other foot forward. Not so good. This keeps them safe. All right. So it's not a battle. I don't want to be feeling. So I let this be nice and relaxed and bendy. I start to turn my body a step to the side.
Because again, my job is to put like this. It's amazing.
That's fine. You like that. Okay.
I go too far, I hit you. I don't go far enough on myself. If you push in,
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. This side.
Yeah, just for the other.
Just push your arm out. Keep this still. Go on, keep doing that. Feel nice and soft. So notice how this follows as my body comes in. Yours is staying. As I come in with my body, that changes.
Yeah, sometimes that's
So it's coming through again.
My body's coming close to my hand. Okay, so get that feeling, and that's what you're going to do. Yes. Now, let go of this hand and show the ball. Now you send it around in that direction.
So,
Now step back. Now, that is my energy. Things I can do.
Hold really tight.
I can take control. Down.
Try and hold really tight.
Go that way. Resist that. We're not aligned anywhere. So I'm trying to go forward, so now mixing them out.
Yes. Okay. Yep.
Go so far that you can feel it. So it's getting hard, you're trying too hard, you're going too far. Going too far. That's all right, we'll come back to it, but you're aligned meditation. Focus. with that?
Good work. You're trying to force yourself on it.
Oh, hang on, how do you know that, Pete?
Oh, so you're just trying to force it then.
And what do you feel in your body when I do that?
I feel tension.
You feel tension in your body and mind, you can feel that kind of,
I feel that fight.
yeah, you feel that fight.
Fight.
Right, what do you feel now?
Nothing.
Nothing. Do you feel a desire to resist when you feel nothing?
No.
Right, do you feel a desire to resist now?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So you have to be aware of the borderlines. Okay, that's his space. This is my space. There you go. Why has he not fallen down? Because I'm not magic, okay? Because there's no connection between us. And there's a kind of a connection. It's kind of a mental connection. You can have a nice chat. You're not going to move people's bodies.
Unless you're into them, must
I'm working on it. Okay, so I need to come to the borderline so that the conversation becomes easier. But if I overstep the borderline, he starts to want to defend his borderline. Make sense? We all want to protect our territory. Very, very, especially strangers, we like to preserve our space, don't we? You don't give that up easily, and if you do, just because you've been beaten up lots of times in the past and we're acting out of fear. What we're going to do is get to a place where, no, you can't protect my territory. When it comes to the place where he can't feel me yet, it's very precise. That's just a bit too far, isn't it? That's where it is. No further. If I go further, immediately you can feel it. No, that's not enough, is it? I've got to come to there. There I need. Right? So you've got to be very sensitive and aware. Which, if you're beginning, means that you probably need to be slow and pay attention. Because of that, I haven't got the braking distance to feel it. I haven't got the experience to know that actually I need more spacing. So, come in. It's for you to tighten up. Notice it. I don't want to go any further. Then, yep. So just feel what's going on in your body, and that's what's going on in his body. If you're tightening up, he's beginning to tighten up. Okay? Good. Be brilliant. That's what we need.
We do always
Genesis.
we don't want to battle. So
You shouldn't feel me doing anything. You shouldn't do any of that.
you're not going to let me go.
Any further, wasn't very far, was it? Any more than that, and you can feel the pressure build between you. Just the place where we need. That's the place I'm in. So feel your own body. Where can you get to without feeling you're imposing? You're imposing. And you'll know because it hurts.
Try and come into it.
It's an improvement, but it's not there.
Otherwise, I'm trying to stay from saying my body.
Don't move your arm. Start to move your body.
It's harder because I'm also moving your yes. So that would work round.
Remember when your hand has to fall. Yes. Very precise. If you're pressure like that, you know. So you can maybe, if you're really strong, force this.
Not waiting.
Up. 1 mile an hour. You're starting at 20. Slowly. This is slow motion. Everything behind this point can move. Okay, so move your body behind the thing. I don't want to feel anything in your hand. No, yes. No. Keep your finger there. I don't want to feel anything here. Forward first, then to So you're coming forward, but you're also turning. And you haven't disconnected your arm from the rest of your body, so when I turn, it's a good tension. That's good. Stop. That's enough. Turn. Last thing to move is your arm.
This one.
Nice. Okay. But what an improvement.
You're there.
So now, Martin, put your hands on. Give me an edge, I don't make an edge.
Yeah.
If I go strong, you try and be strong.
Yes.
But you don't give me a point.
It's not bad.
I think I used to be the
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, my pleasure. Okay, so, so, what am I doing?
Well, you're pressing hard.
Right, and what does that make you
Well, also first resist, then try to punch in the face.
do? Okay, fair enough. So not much alignment from me, you wanted to punch me in the face. Okay, so maybe I could beat that before we have to jump, I can go that way. Okay, which is pretty martially effective. But those who aren't used to taking it, don't love it, let me tell you that. And this is not great at bending that way. It's not like he could get out, I know he could. But if I surprise him, he's not expecting it can do damage. Okay, so we don't do that. So we align this with the rest of his body. Wrists do fold quite nicely this way. Get it? Not so much lateral movement. So I secure this here. And I align like that warming up exercise. My whole body is aligned with the idea of down. Yep. If it's I'm going to take you down, that's what happens. If I think we're going together to the ground, it's beautiful movement. Here's a less perfect version. Sorry, that wasn't too imperfect. This is not good. Why not? I'm out of alignment for one. So if he tested me or someone tapped me from behind, I'm not unbalanced. Also, he could do some damage with that. Okay. So as he's going down, I follow. You can come here and just take account of what's going on before we step away, or we hold it there in the police come, or whatever it is. So, as our partner moves, we move. Okay? We make this connection last for as long as possible. It might be that he still wants to attack me, in which case he can come to me, that's okay, no problem. But in this exercise, he's holding his ground, right? So, we reach a point where it won't go down really much more, so I go to him. So I didn't push that up. All I did was, oh, there's a boundary. I let him move. So here is an exercise where we look like we're doing the same thing. We're well aligned. I put myself in my partner's place. Here, not so much obvious, is it? Because we're facing each other, it's oppositional. But I can mentally join with him. And then that's how that works. So we're always doing it, even when it doesn't look obvious. But even in the physical aspect, I'm not being oppositional. I'm not working against the way his body works or the way my body works. I'm both in alignment. Yep. All right, so should we try that? Those who haven't done this before, Start slowly, okay? And don't try and crush your partner's wrist, because your partner will be kind to you. Don't be unkind back.
Remember that.
Just stay gentle.
All right, sorry.
Jack.
No.
Yeah. So there's the stop. Some make it.
So use it's my responsibility to know what
So they same physical shape, but the mind's crossed. Perfectly, because it's showing it doesn't work very well. Now give it myself.
gravity.
Right, click on
So looking this way. Right, so lower like this.
Either one way well. What did you change?
My reaction is.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not resisting. Yes. Okay.
Make a conscious effort.
Yeah, so in the end, if you start like this, then somehow it's
No, it's tough.
when you get into this, yeah, suddenly it's supposed to something. It's just, you're holding it, yeah, you start having anything else.
Okay, so sometimes I do stuff and I don't even know I'm doing it. But then when I'm practicing, I realize I am doing it and I need to share it with you. Okay? So it's not just the shape here, and it's not just me walking. What I also do is I connect with her center. So I either take a line through her center, or I align my center with hers. I think normally that's what I do. I'm not thinking about that line. It works just as well, but my mind lines with her center. Sounds daft, but this is her center, this is my center. Mine's pointed at her. It's a very good linkage point. Okay, so if I link my centre with Pete's centre, that doesn't work so well. Right, I'll go to Malva, that doesn't work so well. No, this is what I'm working with. This is the oneness that I want. Yeah. So these are things that you naturally do in everyday situations. Okay. If it's someone you're having a good conversation with, it's probably like this. It's probably not like that. It just feels a bit weird to talk to somebody in a real good conversation, sat like this the whole time. You kind of line up with them. Okay, if you sat on a bus, maybe, and then both faces face to the centre, don't they? Yeah? So you do make an effort to kind of share the space. This is what we're doing here. We're sharing the space. It's not me taking the space, which will feel different. It's me sharing the space. Yeah? There's a more oneness about that. So, do it.
That's it.
Yes.
You could say that you're almost like filling up the void that they're presenting a little bit, because you're meeting up in the middle.
Well, yeah.
That's how it felt.
There's kind of space between us. So it's as before, we find the boundary, there's the boundary, then we do something with it. And we notice what happens when we meet. Does she want to come in? Does she want to come in? Okay, I'll let her come in. Looks all right. So at the point we meet, I find out what's going on. Oh, she doesn't want to come with me, so I'll go to her for that oneness this time. So it is always about us, but feeling what's going on with your partner. Yeah? Does that make sense? Not too weird and wonderful, I hope. Well, not wonderful maybe, but not too weird anyway. All right, go. Here goes another. No, go take it.
Right. Yeah.
I'm changing with you. So, but if I'm not coming, I'm not coming.
This way, so I'm not like this. I'm also thinking about
Am I aligned in?
Yeah.
No, but I'm still not falling down. So you need to shift to take advantage of that alignment. That being out of the alignment. Now I've got change. Always I look for the changing the relationship. Notice?
You want to go there, but then you go to
You just need to be aware. What's the game's Okay, so Malva's got two small kids that she'd love to practice this with, right? We have to be aware that with small kids, their joints are not very well, they break easy. Yeah, and their joints are not very well formed, so they're not as resilient yet, and we don't want to damage them before everything is kind of developed to where it should. So we tend to avoid the wrist locks. But can we get the same principle? So I'll come off the wrist entirely, drop, or with a centre now. It's exactly the same. So we've got this myth that it's all about the wrist lock. Yeah, sure, if you want to create some pain, some marvelous way to create some pain. But I don't have to do it to make it as before. So, boom.
Force that a little bit.
I did. Drop. Oh, she's gone. Go. Just forward. When it stops, I'm connected to her arm. That's what happens when I try to force it down. Right? Just connected.
Enjoy that.
Of course you do. Wow. Yes.
There's my hand.
You got to make it a little bit more down.
So what do you have to do? Change your leg. Am I working with this? No! Something interesting over there. Yes! That's what people really know. This is slowly in the ranks. You should get a general's hat. I I'm going over wall space.
So you're getting someone right me.
But you stop, so now I leave. So I don't try to make it I just make sure that
Yeah, it's almost like doing normal. Not stop, it's just a normal stop.
Stay up front when you do it.
Yeah.
Stay up front when you do it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So now just get down to the down. Right.
Doing it? Oh. Right, so you want to shift forward a bit. Although you're making that right motion. So we can. How are we doing?
We get it.
So it's carrying on to be in this position.
How you find this? Sure. I think that's all this. This one. Keep your balance this way. Pushing down. That's okay then.
The thing is, we are concentrating on taking
At some point in the technique, this is the place where
big change over the way things come to stop.
very easy.
So you don't have to be aligned with that as much as you
position. So the next position.
Okay. All right, so this lesson has been focusing on putting yourself in your partner's position. And that is a mental thing and a physical thing. Sometimes it's obviously you're kind of shaped in the same direction. Sometimes it's oppositional, but there's still room for connection. Okay, not to make too obvious a joke, but you know, most intimate moments are face to face, right? But there's a definite joining going on there. So it's not unusual to have that connection and kind of to create a oneness when you're face to face. But sometimes if you're going for a stroll in the park, it would be a bit mad if someone was walking backwards and the other one's walking forward. So there you kind of walk side by side. Yeah? But there's that alignment of ideas, of emotions, of intention that you're looking for. And we're looking for that in our physical practice of Aikido, because that's when it becomes smooth and effortless. And people say, oh, but he just fell. No, they didn't just fall. It's because you observed the principles and there was no desire to not go down to the ground. Yeah. That's when Aikido becomes beautiful. When you can resolve difficulties with your kids or your partner or your friends, and it doesn't turn into an argument, it becomes a conversation that leads in the right direction, which might mean that you give way, by the way. It doesn't mean that you always get your own way. It means it's a fair exchange of energies and ideas, and you move in what is the right direction for the both of you. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. So you're always preserving your own integrity, but that doesn't mean you stay static. There's always movement involved. Sometimes forwards, sometimes backwards, sometimes to the side. Whatever. Any questions, thoughts? Have I stunned you into silence? Yeah.
I have to kind of think what you said. Take it in.
So how was it for you? Did you enjoy it tonight?
I did, yes.
Good. How about you?
Yeah, that's nice.
Food for thought? Good, thank goodness. All right, so we're going to bow out in this kind of semicircular shape. That would be lovely. And we can join the people on the line bow as well with us. Thank you, everyone. I like to do this because we're all involved in the wisdom. It's a group share. You never know where the wisdom's going to come from. You know, and you work with different people and you get different ideas and different takes on what you do. So the wisdom comes from you guys as well as from me. You don't always realize it, but it does, because you've all got life experience that you bring to this mat. It's very well. Okay, let's line up essential class as we would. Keep coming, we might need that last row of mats again. Thank you, one and all. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi team, any thoughts, questions?